Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I am gonna be sharing with you guys how I attack the meal planning and grocery shopping each week for me and my family. If you guys are new around here, welcome. My name is Becca. I'm a registered dietitian, so I'm very passionate about nutrition. I'm also equally as passionate about intuitive eating, so we don't cut anything out. We don't do any kind of dieting around here. I am all for eating real whole foods that provide nourishment, as much as possible, but also there is room for everything. I believe so strongly that food should be enjoyed and savored and not something that's, made out to be like the enemy or something that's negative. So that is what you'll definitely see here on my channel. And I wanted to walk you through how I meal plan and grocery shop and do all of that each week for a couple of reasons. One, it's really helpful and practical from a nutrition standpoint, but two, I think a lot of people have this misconception that with intuitive eating, you can't do any meal planning and it's just supposed to be, it's all intuitive. We just eat whatever we want when we're craving it, and it's very like fluid, and we can't put any kind of regimen in place. And that's definitely not true. And here's why. A huge part of intuitive eating is actually fueling and nourishing your body so that you feel good. And when you are like a true intuitive eater, you will find that you crave a lot of really healthy, nutrient-dense foods. So it's important that you have those foods available to you. And in my experience, and probably many people's experience, if you don't put a little bit of thought and planning in on the front end, you're not gonna have that food readily available. You're not gonna have healthy food readily available. You might find yourself eating out all the time or just kind of scrambling for food, and that is not healthy, right? So we need to make sure that we do have healthy, wholesome, nutrient-dense food available to us, along with maybe some not so healthy food too, because that's okay. And that all comes back to meal planning and grocery shopping. Okay, so I've got my coffee here and I'm gonna walk you through, because I'm actually about to do this for the week. So I'm just gonna bring you guys along with me while we do this. So if you wanna be let in on my super secret, hyper organized way that I actually create our grocery list and our meal plan for the week, I'm gonna let you in on my secret, you guys. It might be, if it feels a little intimidating to you, that's okay if you're starting out with this. It is a shred of paper. That's literally what I use. This is a piece of printer paper that's been cut up into small squares, okay? Fancy, I know, it does not have to be complicated. If I had it my way, it would be an index card, like a note card, but I'm all out, so this is what we're working with, and guess what? This works just fine. So my super secret, super fancy method is I write the meals, like dinners and lunch, or whatever, snacks, whatever we need for the week, on one side, and then I flip it over and I write the grocery list on the other side. It's like real high tech happening over here, but honestly, it doesn't have to be complicated. Grab a piece of paper and just write stuff down. You don't need a big recipe meal planning binder, and if that works for you, that's great. Keep doing it, because if it works for you, I want you to do it. But if that is intimidating to you, or you can't keep track of it, or you don't find yourself using it, like don't, just get a piece of paper. Okay, so the very first thing I do is I actually go through and plan out what we're going to eat. So when it comes to breakfast, we pretty much cycle through the same few breakfast meals. It's not super exciting, but it is practical and it is healthy, and everybody in my family eats these meals. So a huge one for us is Dutch baby. A Dutch baby, we make that multiple times a week. I have a recipe here on my channel. It's like a big giant egg-based pancake that you bake in the oven. Scrambled eggs and toast, again, not fancy. Oatmeal is a big one, and then sometimes we'll make pancakes or sprinkle in something else that's a little bit more exciting. But we cycle through the same few breakfasts. They're on repeat. I have a healthy breakfast ideas video on my channel too. You can go watch that. So I never actually plan those out because it's the same every week, and it's very basic ingredients most of the time that we have on hand, especially because we have chickens that lay eggs. So then I move on to dinners. So when it comes to dinner, I like to plan out 6 or 7 per like grocery shopping trip. So we have everything we need to make all of those dinners. Now, I don't necessarily cook every single night. There are some weeks where I do, but honestly, it's more rare. And when I mean cook, I mean like cook like a real dinner meal. Every week, there's usually like maybe Matt and I will go on a date night, so we'll make something really simple for the girls. Bo doesn't eat yet, before we go out and have dinner. Or maybe there's a night that we get takeout. Maybe we plan for it, or maybe it's just the day totally got away from us. That happens to us. I try not to do that often because takeout's just not that good, honestly, to me. And it's so expensive, especially if you're trying to get a slightly healthier option, which honestly is also hard to come by. Or, you know, maybe we're invited over to like my parents for dinner, or we'll have leftovers, or we'll do breakfast for dinner, something really simple. So I don't typically cook every single night. Just if you're thinking that's what I do, I don't. Definitely not perfect, like 100% productivity over here all the time, but I do try and cook dinner as much as possible ourselves. So when it comes to actually planning out the meals, there are, you know, a few like tried and true things that we pretty much do every week. Like every week there's always some kind of pasta dish because it's easy, and Matt can cook it if need be, if I'm busy or exhausted or whatever. We usually always do some kind of something Mexican, so tacos, that's a huge win always in my house, or maybe like a taco skillet or something like that. So something like that we do every week. We also love burgers in this house. We get really good burgers from like a farmer's market nearby that we really like, or sometimes I'll make them. Sometimes we'll do like a burger bowl, which I have a recipe for that here on my channel, or we will do like a more standard burger. In my best case scenario, I make the buns myself, but that doesn't always happen. So a lot of times we just pick up the ones from the farmer's market, and that's fine. So basically I have some that we kind of keep on the rotation. So, you know, I'm not starting fresh every week trying to come up with 7 new ideas, because to me that's just, it's just too much thought, and it's also just unnecessary. So we always have a few favorites, but I do like to mix in new things, because you don't want to eat the same things all the time, because that gets really boring. So I will use 2 things. I will either go like literally on my phone, I'll search healthy recipes, I'll find blog posts, or Pinterest, I'll go on there and search, you know, like healthy dinner recipes and find stuff, or like crock pot meals, and I will just see what I can find online that piques my interest, that isn't, you know, like loaded with ingredients and overcomplicated. That's not my jam. So I'll go online and I'll find inspiration there. Or, you guys, cookbooks, okay? If you don't have cookbooks, get yourself some cookbooks, and get ones like, maybe actually go to a bookstore and flip through it to see if it's stuff that you'll actually make, because I have purchased cookbooks online before that people have recommended, and like they're beautiful and all the dishes sound wonderful, but like I've literally never made a single one, because I'm like, that is just not my style of cooking. Like my kids won't eat that, even though I try to expose them to a lot, and I'm pretty good about that, but I'm like, my kids are not gonna eat like garlic soup with like cloves of garlic. Like there's a really great French book I bought once, and I have yet to make a single thing because it's just not practical for our everyday use. So my recommendations, this book is one of my favorites. I love following her blog, Half Baked Harvest. She's awesome, but her name's Tegan. But this book in particular is very practical. Like moms out there, I highly recommend this one. There's so much stuff in here. Some of it is going to be a little bit more exotic. Some of it's going to be like, I could make this every day and my whole family would eat it. So there's just a really good one. So I love this one. As you can see, I have tabs in here of recipes that I go back to over and over. I also really like this cookbook. Some of it is like stuff that I just wouldn't make for my family because they probably wouldn't eat it. But there's a ton in here that we do like. And there's a lot of good basic things like how to roast a chicken. I love her cornbread recipe. She has like a lot of stuff that just contains like veggies. And she also has a great blog. I love her YouTube channel. I love her podcast. This is Shay Elliott. Anyway, so those are 2 of just my favorites that I actually use and I go back to, and I find myself opening up a decent amount. So cookbooks are also great. Highly recommend. Go to your bookstore or, you know, hop on Amazon and try and find ones that you feel like you'll actually really, really like. Okay, so now it's time. I'm just gonna sit down and I'm gonna go through and I'm going to come up with probably 7 meals. I might flip through these books, pop online, use some that are already in my head that are tried and true favorites for us, and I'm gonna write down those meals. Okay, you guys, so meal list has been created. So I have dinners and I have lunches on here because again, breakfast is pretty much the same things that we cycle through. And then as far as snacks, I just keep those on hand. I don't typically buy a ton of snack items from the grocery store. We either get kid snacks and I guess adult snacks too. We stock up on certain things from Costco or Thrive Market. We always keep stuff on hand for smoothies. And the only kid snack I feel like I really buy from the grocery store is either like yogurt, like kids yogurt pouches, or like cheese sticks. Everything else we get from like those other places. So we typically have those stocked and they don't often make my grocery list. So for dinners this week, I have 6. So we are gonna have, one night we're gonna have pasta, which sorry, I also have a napping baby. I'm trying to keep an eye out. Pasta with ground sausage, which we get from a local farm, and broccoli. My kids love broccoli. So it's an easy vegetable that I try and cook with every week in some form or fashion so that they, you know, that's a vegetable I know that they really like. Another night we're going to have baked cheesy tacos, which are actually from this book, but I do make the tortillas myself because homemade tortillas are not that hard and they make a world of difference. So we'll have cheesy tacos with like salsa and sour cream and lettuce and cheese. Easy. Burger bowls, we're gonna have those with sweet potato, which I have a recipe for that here on my channel, but it's like sweet potato and onions and pickles and lettuce and obviously ground meat or ground beef. And you make like a burger sauce with stuff everybody keeps pretty much in their fridge. Super easy and very good. Sourdough pizza, pretty much every Friday night I plan on making sourdough pizza. It's just an easy one, cheese and sauce, or for my kids and my husband really. And if I wanna get fancy, I'll use other things we have, like add greens to it or maybe pesto if we have some. But most of the time it's just cheese and sauce because that's just what we do. Another night we're gonna have turkey chili, or we might just do ground beef chili, just kind of depends, with like beans and tomatoes and, you know, all the good stuff. I make chili all the time. You guys know I love chili. It's perfect for winter, it's very filling, it's protein rich, and it makes for great leftovers to eat for lunch the next day. And I'm going to make a loaf of sourdough at some point so we can eat that with the chili. And then I also have on here, I'm gonna make homemade ravioli. This is like my Sunday meal when we have like all the time in the world to like mess around in the kitchen. I recently got one of the pasta maker things that go on your, like the big mixer that I have, and it's been on my list for a few weeks now to make homemade ravioli, and it still hasn't happened because again, you guys, certainly not perfect over here. But we have a bunch of ricotta cheese and we have everything to make it, so I really want to make it. I think it'd be fun to include the kids in that. Plus it would just be like a delicious Sunday dinner. So those are the dinners that I have planned for this week. And then for lunch, I try and pick out some kind of protein, something that will be prepped once and it's done and we can eat through the rest of the week. And that this week it's going to be chicken salad. So I have a bunch of chicken breasts in my freezer. I also have whole chickens in my freezer that I can pull out and thaw and make chicken salad from the whole chicken, we'll see, with just celery and mayo and a little bit of Dijon mustard, salt and pepper. Super simple. That's how I make mine. I will pair it. I'm gonna make sourdough bread at some point, so probably tomorrow. Probably should go feed my starter right after this, so that we can have, you know, like sourdough bread. I'll probably make avocado toast with it, or if someone wants to make a sandwich with the chicken salad. And we always have greens, so we can have some like just dressed greens with it. My kids actually will eat salad, like spinach or spring mix just with dressing on it. Which is kind of surprising. So I like to always have that on hand because I know that they'll eat it. Okay, and then for kids' lunches, so breakfast and dinner, we make one thing and that's what everybody eats. Lunch tends to be a little bit more customized to everyone's liking. So for my kids, or for my girls, they kind of just get like a medley of things every day. Sometimes it's leftovers, but I try and plan like a bunch of like a, you know, a variety of things to have on hand so we can just like create a little plate for them for lunch. So I have, you know, chicken salad, obviously we're gonna make that and they will eat that. We do like to get deli turkey. We like to get it from the farmer's market by us because it's so much better than the regular grocery store. So we usually pick that up when we go and get our milk or those burgers that we like. And then fruit, so whatever fruit we have, they love apples or berries, you know, clementines, that kind of thing. We always have fruit on hand for them to snack on, but also to add to their lunch plates. I wrote down cucumbers and ranch. They don't love cucumbers, but I'm like, if I give them, I haven't given to them in a little while, if I give them with ranch, I think we might have success. I also wrote crackers on here. We love the Simple Mills crackers. And then I also wrote PB&J because they love peanut butter and jelly. What kid doesn't? It's an easy thing to whip up for lunch. So I usually just honestly brainstorm like a list of things that they could eat for lunch. And then that way every day it's like a little bit different, but it's not like I'm creating a new meal every day from, you know, from scratch. So super easy. I just write out a list for them and then we just pick from those things to throw together a quick lunch for them every week. Okay, so now that part's done. That's the hard part. That's like where you really have to like use your brain. And that's the most difficult thing. But now I just go through line by line, meal by meal, and I write out everything that we'll need to pick up from the grocery store. Okay, so grocery list is complete. Again, very fancy. So I always write like produce on one side. I write dairy like down in this corner, and then I write like anything that's gonna be in like the center aisles up here. I just do that every time, so it's organized. And I actually don't do the grocery shopping. Matt is the grocery shopper. He's just kind of fell into that role in like the last year. So once a week he takes the girls, they can get out of the house, they go to the grocery store, or sometimes I'll do it online and we'll do the pickup. I don't typically do the grocery delivery. I know people love that, but I don't know, I feel like half the times they just pick out the wrong stuff and it like, you know, costs a decent amount on top of the actual groceries. So it works out for us just to typically, or for Matt to typically go to the grocery store, and he does not mind going. So I keep it organized for him so he knows, you know, where he needs to go for everything. So we have our list now. The only thing I typically don't buy from the grocery store that never really makes the list is meat, because we buy typically from a local farm. We get all of our beef and pork from a local farm, sometimes chicken, or sometimes I stock up on the like organic chicken breast from Costco. So those just go on our freezer. We have a big freezer in the, you know, barn that houses all of our meat. So typically don't buy it from the grocery store because I try my best to buy that from local farms when I can. And that goes for, you know, anything that you can buy locally is always going to be better. It's not always going to be an option, or it may not, you know, be even available to you. It is the dead of winter here. It's hard to find produce pretty much anywhere but the grocery store. So that's where we buy it from. But in, you know, the summer months, we have a garden, and I try and buy from other, you know, like the farmer's market or something like that. But, you know, we do the best we can. We certainly rely on the grocery store heavily, especially in the colder months. But so we've got our list. I'm gonna send Matt to the store, and then I will share everything that I got, our grocery haul for the week, when he gets back. Okay, you guys, so we are now in my kitchen. Grocery shopping trip is complete. Matt is home, and I laid everything out. So now we are going to do a little grocery haul for all of the meals that I planned for this week. Okay, so starting over here, we've got a bunch of produce. So chopped romaine. A lot of times I just buy the romaine hearts and chop it myself, but this works too. And this is to like chop up and put on tacos, and also for the base for our burger bowls. Then we have this huge tub of spring mix here. This is mainly for salad, and then technically toss that in smoothies too, although I prefer just plain spinach or kale. We have this big bag of the family pack of broccoli that's already chopped up. Again, my kids love broccoli and will eat it, so I clearly doubled down on that opportunity. A huge bag of apples because my kids eat a ton of those, and Matt and I like them as well. 2 things of strawberries because we love berries for snacking to add to lunches, also on top of oatmeal. I've got 2 cucumbers here to chop up and give to my kids for lunch, celery for chicken salad, onions just for various meals that I'll be cooking. I always have onions and also fresh garlic, but I have a ton right now, so I didn't need to buy any more. I've got green peppers here for our chili, an avocado, because I already have some in the fridge, but I need another one for like avocado toast or, you know, to top on tacos or something like that. Sweet potatoes for our burger bowls, pickles for our burger bowls. These are the best pickles ever. I'm just saying, they are the tastiest. There is actual like dill and garlic floating around in here. Best tasting, crunchiest pickles ever. Love those. Okay, then we have Caesar dressing. This is, I will have basically any salad dressing on a salad and I'm fine with it. But Matt loves this Caesar dressing, and I actually love it because the ingredients are pretty good. I don't know if you can see, it says made with avocado oil, and dressings can have pretty like trash ingredients, you guys. So here is a look at what is in here, and of course everything in moderation, balance. You know, it doesn't always have to be perfect, but if it's something that you're going to be eating every single day, then you might want to find something that's a better option if it's within your budget. And for us, this is a really great option. I love that Wegmans has that. We've got tomato paste and also diced tomatoes for chili. I typically don't buy beans for chili because I have a ton of dried beans that I can just throw in the Instant Pot to like hydrate. We've got 2 boxes of pasta here. This brand from Wegmans is our personal favorite. It's not whole wheat, but it is organic. I also love the einkorn pasta from Jovial, but you can't get that in grocery stores near me. That is an online order. Here is bread. So this is from the bakery section. This is one of my tips for if you are buying bread from the store. The ingredients on this is just going to be a little bit better. I don't know if it's hard for you guys to see this. Then like the packaged bread you're going to find in the bread aisle. It's also just much tastier in my opinion if I'm not making bread myself, which I totally don't all the time. It's more, I make bread to like supplement what we eat, not to provide what we eat, if that makes sense. In my dream world, I would make all of our own bread, but that's just like not happening right now. So this is a good option from the grocery store. Always check the bakery section. Okay. Couple other random things. We just needed more ketchup. We get the Wegmans organic one. Larabar, we love snacking on these. I actually love like breaking these up and actually putting it over vanilla like Siggy's yogurt as a snack. It's so good. Random, but cereal. Matt and I like to eat cereal before bed, and this is the one that we get that's from our local or Wegmans grocery store. Okay, so then we've got some dairy stuff. Tub of sour cream for tacos and chili, things like that. Sharp shredded cheese for same kind of thing, tacos or chili. My best case scenario is when I actually buy like blocks of raw cheddar from a local farm, but I have just been like out of the habit of doing that because you have to order it like way in advance. So this is like the next best thing, but that is what I prefer. And then this is just cheese from like the deli section, because sometimes the girls do like grilled cheese sandwiches for lunch, which I totally forgot to put on my list, but Matt picked this up for that purpose. So we've got bread, cheese, and then also butter for that, and for a million other things. This is the one that I buy. I also like the, what is it? It's the Irish one. You can get it in bulk from Costco. I'm totally blanking on the name of it, but it comes in like a gold wrapper. I'll buy that in bulk from Costco. And then there's also one from Azur Standard that I like. Kerrygold is the name of the other one. So you can get that at the grocery store. It's grass-fed. It's not organic, but it's grass-fed. You can also buy it in bulk from Costco for a good price. And then the other one, the Azure Standard one, is called Grazers. I was having like a total brain fart there and I could not remember what they were called. Anyway, okay, then we have these. These are just the Stonyfield Organic Kids Yogurt. These are so handy because you can just, you know, hand them over, which is really nice. If I had my way, they would eat like yogurt out of a bowl with slightly even better ingredients. But again, perfection is not the goal. And my kids love this. It's a great way to get yogurt in them, calcium. It's obviously grass-fed, it's organic. So I appreciate that. But I think that is everything for this week's haul. Okay, now there is one final thing that I do when it comes to the meal plan and the grocery shopping and setting us up for our week. And that is actually writing down all of those meals that I came with on this little board back here. I need to see it or I will literally forget. And it doesn't really matter, you know, if I can look at my list at dinner time to know what I'm going to make. However, a lot of times things take a little bit of prep work. So for example, making sure I actually take the meat out of the freezer that we have in bulk so that it has time to defrost. Another thing is making sure my sourdough starter is fed. So for example, if I'm making bread or I'm making pizza dough, that all has to happen like the day before, or at least it has to start the day before you actually want it. So I need to be thinking about these things ahead of time. So I can't always just look at my list at 4:30 and be like, this is what we're having for dinner based on what I came up with. So I like to write it on a board because I walk through this Butler's Pantry about 50 times a day. So it's right in my face right there where I can see it, and that just helps me. Maybe you write it in a planner, or maybe you have another way of remembering your meals, but this is just what I found to work best for me. So I will just erase what we had last week and then go in with some chalk and write our new weekly menu. So that is it. I can now take my super fancy high-tech grocery list and meal plan and toss it in the trash. It has served me well. I've got all my groceries. I've got all of my meals planned out up on the board so I know what I'm making through the week. And I feel like I could take a huge deep breath now. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. I hope that it helped you to maybe, you know, get a couple tips or how you can best work this for yourself. But when it comes to healthy eating, when it comes to consuming real whole foods on a regular basis so you can actually fuel and nourish your body so that you feel good, you do have to do a little bit of this prep work ahead of time. And it is so much more economical to eat healthy when you are buying the raw ingredients and preparing the food at home. So grocery shopping is a huge key to actually being able to eat healthy in a way that is sustainable for you. So I hope that this video helped you. If you have any other tips or anything you like to do each week to help yourself stay on top of this, I would love for you to leave them down in the comments below so we can all glean your wisdom and get your tips. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. Of course, let me know down in the comments below any other videos you'd like to see from me. Follow me on Instagram if you haven't already, and of course, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. But again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!